Hey guys, before we start this video, I just have a quick question. Do you want to go to WrestleMania? Because today's video is sponsored by the Wrestling Metaverse. The Wrestling Metaverse is a new wrestling game that's currently in development, and in the meantime, they're offering 2 tickets to WrestleMania to whoever can create the funniest original wrestling meme. So yo, if you want to go to WrestleMania, all you have to do is create the meme, post it on Twitter with the hashtag WMMeme, and tag the Twitter profile at WrestlingVerse, and you'll be entered in the contest to win 2 tickets to WrestleMania. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So go make a meme, go make something funny. You guys make memes all the time anyway. Might as well make one and end up at WrestleMania. The tweet is linked down in the description below. Good luck to everyone who enters. And now on to today's video. It was 2005 and your boy Pav was 7 years old. It was a cold October Saturday, and for some reason I begged my parents to stay up until 11 p.m. because I wanted to watch WWE Velocity. This was a point in my life where I wanted to watch anything and everything wrestling related. It didn't matter if it was jobbers, it didn't matter if it was the most useless wrestlers wrestling, I wanted to watch it. It was 10:59, I went to Spike TV, channel 32 over here. I was waiting to see the iconic WWE intro, and it was time, 11 p.m. The screen went black and I was so amped, but then all I saw was this.
This is TNA, the new face of professional wrestling.
What the fuck is a TNA? All I see is this insane, just the most hyped up intro I had ever seen in wrestling history. People jumping off cages, walking on cages. I even saw what I thought was Jeff Hardy. This was the trippiest moment of my young 7-year-old life. I thought Jeff Hardy was dead. I'd never even seen Jeff Hardy wrestle live at that point. I was literally tripping out, but no, it didn't end there. The show starts, there's pyro going off, and all I see is a wrestling ring. That's a fucking hexagon. I genuinely thought I was in the Twilight Zone. Here I was expecting another WWE show, and instead I'm watching whatever the hell this is. I had never been so confused like this in my life, but at the same time I was just in awe. This didn't even feel like real life. The ring, the stage, the commentary who was just yelling like they were going absolutely insane. Even the arena, it was so unique. For the first time in my young life, I was watching wrestling that wasn't WWE, and from that point forward, I became a fan of TNA wrestling. TNA in that time period was just awesome. None of my friends even had any idea what a TNA was. They didn't believe me. They thought I was just making shit up, but I love TNA wrestling. I was genuinely a young TNA wrestling fan. Whenever I could watch TNA, I was just the happiest kid alive because it was so fun watching something that no one else even knew of and something else so unique and different. These days, TNA wrestling is dead. It's Impact Wrestling and it's a shell of its former self, but trust me, once upon a time, this company had so much potential. It was one of those things where you just had to have been there. I can't explain to you how special TNA truly was, especially for a young fan like me. So let's go back to 2008. TNA had been on the air for 3 years. The roster was so stacked, they were making noise, and they were legit number 2 in the wrestling industry. And for the first time since 2000, we were getting a major non-WWE licensed wrestling video game. Midway Games was releasing TNA Impact, Kurt Angle on the cover for every console you could possibly imagine, and I remember this being so hype. As much as I love the SmackDown vs. Raw games back in the day, the idea of this non-WWE wrestling game, another wrestling game, was huge because playing with that roster of AJ Styles, having the 6-sided ring in a video game, all of it just seemed so exciting. And the trailers were just so fire, and the news coming out made it seem so epic. The behind the scenes footage just added to the hype because you would see the behind the scenes footage and be like, yo, these guys making this game are genuine wrestling fans, are clearly passionate about this. I remember going on IGN every single day to see if there was new footage being released and seeing how this game was being built, how much attention to detail they were putting in. Development time of 2 years, this game was looking like it was going to be something special. TNA Impact came out in September of 2008, and of course your boy has to get it as a birthday gift. I was 10 years old playing TNA Impact on my PS3, and I remember being so impressed with the graphics, and I played this game every single day for 2 weeks non-stop like my life depended on it. I was doing everything and anything I could do in the game, but that was it. I only played the game for 2 weeks, and then I forgot about it, and when it was time, I traded in the game for SVR 09. After all that hype, after all that excitement, after begging my parents to get it for me for my birthday, I was done with it in 2 weeks, and I honestly don't remember why. But now it's 2022 and sadly TNA doesn't really exist. Well, not the way it used to, but TNA still holds a special place in my heart. Just hearing the voiceover of "This is TNA, the new face of professional wrestling" makes me wish it was 2005 all over again. So I thought, why not go back to 2008? Why not take a look back at a game that never got a sequel, a game that most people were pretty mixed on, and honestly a really important game because regardless of how it turned out, this was the one and only TNA video game. So yo, boys and girls, why not party like it's 2008, play some Carter 3, track number 1, put that CD in, let's get our PS3 controller out, and let's take a look back at TNA Impact, the video game. So I loaded this game up and just seeing this menu brought back so many damn memories, but instantly I was just reminded of how bare bones this game was. There is not much going on in this game, sadly. Honestly, it's like exhibition, story, create a wrestler, and Christie's tits. I mean tips. Yeah, this game was bare bones as it gets, which I get. This was the first wrestling game they developed, but still, the match types are not it. There's no hardcore match, well, cause every match is a hardcore match, because there's only one weapon in the entire game. There's no cage match, there's no TLC match or anything, it's just normal, tag, free-for-all, and Ultimate X. Then there's the roster. Now the roster is pretty small compared to the games we were used to at that point, but hey, I can't lie, just looking through the roster, this is a pretty top tier roster. They had so much star power back in 2008. So even though it's a small roster, I promise you, you're not gonna have an issue choosing a wrestler, and there's so many more to be unlocked, like, you know, dress shirt Kevin Nash. What? Like, yo, Big Kev, I know you're pretty lazy in the ring, but you don't even want to work in a video game? But whatever, the roster is solid for what TNA was at this point. Remember, in 08, TNA had only been 2 hours for a year now. So I chose AJ Styles, I'm up against Kurt Angle, I choose the Impact Zone, I'm amped, I'm excited, the game loads up, it does take a while, but it finally loads up, and the arena looks beautiful. This game doesn't look like a 2008 game, this game holds up so well, and I knew that going in, but seeing it in action, seeing everything moving, the lasers, the pyro, in 2022, this game still holds up so damn well. And then seeing AJ Styles come out, it's so elite. The entrances are so hype, and they perfectly replicate the mood and the vibe that 2008 Impact had. The entrances are really cool. Angle's entrance is awesome with the flag. It is kind of funny though because you don't ever see the wrestlers go in the ring, they just magically teleport, but it's fine. I'm ready. The match is loaded up. I didn't remember anything about the gameplay or the controls. I don't remember how to do anything, but YOLO, you only live once. Let's go. So I start the match, and the first thing I do is say, what the hell is this? I didn't remember this game being so slow and being so clunky. I was just sitting there like, what is this game? Grapple was the triangle button, which took a while to figure out. Not like I could get a grapple going, but yeah, that was impossible. And then I got my ass beat. Like, that is an understatement. For the first match, I was just getting my ass beat and it was bad. I could barely do anything. And whenever I did do something, Kurt Angle was just pulling out the most insane reversals I've seen in a wrestling video game. He was just out here being prime Perk Angle, and I was just there like, I am so sorry for choosing you, Kurt Angle. I am so sorry. I stood no chance. Kurt Angle, Angle Slam, boom, 1, 2, 3. The match was over in like 3 minutes, and I was just there like, maybe I shouldn't make a video on this game. Is it worth recording hours of footage to play this game? But hey, we don't use the pull-out method over here. So I went to the main menu, I went to the tutorials, and I sat there and I figured out how to play this damn game. I was sitting there trying to figure out how to play this because I wanted to give this an honest shot, because I do remember having fun playing this game. So I figured out how to play. I went back in there, I chose my wrestler, I go back into the Impact Zone, and I start the game. My game face is on, it's still clunky as hell, but damn sure is this game beautiful. And ladies and gentlemen, the match started. And I just gotta say, when you actually know what you're doing in this game is really fun. Once I got the controls figured out, once I got used to the slow and the responsiveness and the timing, I was having the time of my life. This game obviously looks amazing, right? You can watch this and see it in 1080p and see how good it looks, but the gameplay is such a fun beat 'em up style, old school arcade fighting game. The animations are out of this world, and yeah, it's glitchy, its hit detection is all over the place, and it is slow, but when you get that rhythm going, it can be fast paced and it can be fun and it gets wild. At first, I'm like, oh cool, solid wrestling game, you know, you're doing the simple moves. But once you start doing the combinations and the reversals and you see people flying out of the ring, just the carnage that would go on so many times, I would just be here like, yo, did I just see that? I was out here getting caught in midair, getting thrown out the ring, and some landings looked so violent that I thought my wrestler was genuinely dead. The gameplay felt so familiar, and you'll find out what I mean in a bit, but it was a good time. This game would be so fun to play with someone who also knows how to actually play this game, and the reversal system is awesome because every move can be reversed in mid-move, and especially when you start chaining together reversals, it is so satisfying. The springboards, the finishers, it's awesome, and I love it because it's not SmackDown versus Raw, it's not anything like the SVR games, but for some reason, this type of game, whatever type of game this is, it fits TNA, you know, it fits the vibe and the aesthetic and what I would want in a TNA video game, because TNA isn't and it wasn't the WWE. Now yo, trust me, there are so many things wrong with this game, but I can't lie, it was just fun playing this game and seeing how insane some things could actually end up being. Yeah, it sucks that there's only one weapon, a chair, in the entire game. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how you think of making a wrestling game without a table, and the movesets are very limited. And yeah, after a few matches you've kind of seen all the animations, but this is all in hindsight. In 2008, my review of this game when I was 10 years old would have been much harsher. But in 2022, looking back at this game did get so many things right that I'm kind of shook at how well it executed what it did get right. The way that some people talk about this game, you would think that Midway Games just took a piss on a disc and shipped it out as a video game. I was expecting to go back to a dumpster fire. But if anything, all I saw was a game that had so much potential. The Ultimate X match in this game is wild. This was TNA's signature match for the X division, and playing this in a video game was something I always wanted to do as a kid, so finally playing it was surreal back then, and it's really fun to this day. Once again, it is very glitchy. AJ, AJ buddy? Where you going? AJ? God damn it, AJ, did you take shrooms again? And yeah, of course, after one match, you've kind of seen all the animations, but I enjoyed it. Jumping off, kicking people off, and how fast paced and hectic it can be, the springboard moves. They made the Ultimate X match really well here. Could it be better? Yeah, for sure, and it would have been better in the sequel, but what we got for a first time match, I think was really great. But yeah, the matches are limited, the roster is good, but it is small, and there's not much to do in Exhibition after you play a few matches. But hey, don't forget, they did have a career mode, and the best way for me to describe how the career mode is this is hilarious. The TNA iMPACT career mode is so crazy, silly, random, but somehow it is still well made, and it's not supposed to be serious, you know, it's not supposed to be some super emotional story mode. This is just its own thing, and I am a pretty big fan of it. The story mode begins and you are a masked wrestler named Suicide. Seem familiar? Yeah, of course, you've probably seen him on TNA television, but this is where he made his debut. Before he was ever a character on television, he was actually made as a part of the story mode. He was made as a character for the story mode of this game. So you're Suicide, you're the best up and coming star, you're beating everyone, and eventually you become TNA champion in the beginning of the story mode in a cutscene, which at first I'm like, alright, that's kind of weird, a story mode where you begin as champion, okay, but then LAX comes up to you and basically tells you, hey Holmes, you better lose your match, SA, or else, and well, Suicide doesn't. So then you get your ass kicked by LAX, and then you find out what they meant by or else. So they beat your ass so bad, and listen to this, they dump your ass in Mexico. They beat you up so bad, you wake up at a random dingy Mexican hospital with bandages all over you. You look like the guy from SpongeBob who's like about to die. And the doctors say you were beat up so bad that nobody can recognize you, and you don't even remember who you are, let alone remember what your job was or anything. Okay, this is weird. This is not what I expected. Oh, it gets much weirder because it turns out that the doctors are actually plastic surgeons, and they tell you that basically they feel bad for you and that they can do some work on you and make you look like whatever you want to look like to start your life again. What the fuck? And boom, now you're out here creating a wrestler. This is somehow the stupidest yet the funniest and most creative thing I've ever seen in a wrestling game. And there you go, you make your character and boom, your guy just wakes up and is like, yeah, that's it, I want to be a wrestler. And then just like that, you're in the middle of Mexico having a wrestling match. And you play the story out and it is so silly, it is so funny. I mean, you're out here getting smuggled back into America in the back of a pickup truck. What more could you possibly want? It's a really funny story and I loved it back then because it all kind of came back to me. I remember how the storyline went out and I still love it now. It's silly, it's outrageous, it's not supposed to be serious, but you can still definitely have a ton of fun playing this. So you're grinding, you wrestle your way out of Mexico and then you end up in the States and you're at some random armory versing a bunch of clowns, but since I have face paint, apparently I'm a clown too. What a surprise. So you win a few matches and eventually look who pulls up at a random armory for some reason with no shirt and no pants. It's TNA wrestler James Storm. And the storyline is, if you beat James Storm, you're gonna get an audition for TNA wrestling. And I was like, okay, all right, that sounds fun. All right, let's beat him. Let me go back into TNA. This should be pretty easy. It's James Storm. You know, it's pretty solid, but it's James Storm. The problem is, first of all, James Storm is apparently Prime Undertaker on crack for some reason. I don't know what the fuck they fed him. I don't know what he's on, what drugs, what the hell they did to him, but I couldn't beat him to save my life. It took me 5 tries on the easiest difficulty to beat this drunk guy. He wouldn't stay down. He literally wouldn't stay down. Then this was where I discovered my biggest complaint of the game. I didn't notice this before when I was playing Exhibition, but it was crystal clear when I played career mode. The pinning system in this game sucks. It is horrible. It is the worst thing I've seen in my life. I hate it in All Stars and I hate it here. And oh my god, I'm getting PTSD just thinking about it. To kick out of a pin in this wrestling game, you have to spam the right stick, left, right, up, down, just shake it, move it, do whatever you want. But the problem is, it doesn't work. It's impossible to fill up the meter. Once you have a little bit of damage, once just even a tiny bit of damage, it's over. It's done. Half the time, it doesn't even register what's going on. Kicking out is impossible. Once I'm getting pinned, I already know, like, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna kick out. Let me just quit the match. I just surrender. I genuinely hate the pinning system. And James Storm, it was so hard to beat for no reason. He was eating finishers for breakfast. I was beating his ass with chairs, and all I wanted was my damn audition. All I wanted to do was win so I could get my audition, but for some reason, he would just go mental on me. He would smash me with chairs. He would hit me with finishers. I would beat his ass for the entire match, yet he would be the one with the finisher for some reason. Who the hell is he? Is he Hulk Hogan? Can someone confirm with me if James Storm is apparently Hulk Hogan? It took me a solid hour to beat this man. I did everything. He was just too good. And when I finally did beat him, it wasn't some domination. It wasn't something crazy like, yeah, James Storm, haha. No, I barely beat him. I got so lucky. He almost filled up the meter. I got lucky. I got the 3 count like it was a buzzer beater.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Never again. I never ever want to wrestle James Storm ever again in a wrestling game. I don't even want to see this man again. Whew. Yeah, sorry for the little rant and the tangent, but this pinning system and James Storm made me want to break my controller. But it's fine, we're back. Alright, calm, cool, collected. The story mode does go on. You get your audition, you do your thing, and it gets funnier and funnier as you go on because you do end up teaming up with Eric Young, who in this game and at that time, well, let's just say he has problems. But what I like about the story mode is it doesn't take itself seriously. It knows it's a meme and it knows it's comedy. That's why you have like funny tracks playing around in the background the whole time. And it's a great time. But yeah, that is TNA Impact. The game that only has a few match types. No TLC match, no cage match. A game that only has one weapon, which is a chair. A game with a horrible pinning system. A game that is clunky, it is slow, and it is very unresponsive. But for some reason, it is a game that I still enjoyed playing. Trust me, it doesn't make any sense. There's not much to do in this game other than play the career mode and a few exhibition matches. So listen, I get why this game had negative reviews. I just listed a bunch of reasons, but yo, I still like it. I still get some warm, fuzzy feelings playing this. I still enjoyed it, and I just wish, I really wish we got a sequel. This was it. This was the first and last TNA Impact video game. Midway Games, who published this game, they went bankrupt in 2009. I only played this game for about 2 weeks growing up, but I'm still glad I did. I'm still glad that I got this game as soon soon as it came out and that I enjoyed it, and I'm really happy that I grew up in an era where I did have TNA wrestling to watch on Spike TV on Saturday nights and eventually on Thursdays and Mondays. I missed that time. But if there is one good thing that came out of this, is the people who developed this game, the actual developers, they went on to make WWE All-Stars. That is why the game looks so familiar, why so many animations are so elite, but at the same time you're like, have I seen this before? Have I seen a game like this? That's it. The people who worked on this game went on to make WWE All-Stars, and they made a great arcade brawler game. So at least they got to continue making another wrestling game, and it's really cool to see how a big reason why All-Stars was so good was because of TNA Impact. All in all, like I said, this game is missing so much stuff: weapons, matches, wrestlers, modes, moves, everything. But hey, it's 2022, who cares? It's been 14 years since this game came out, and if a game 14 years later can still make me mark out and be excited, I can't hate on it that much. And honestly, yeah, maybe I'm biased, but hey, TNA Impact, in my opinion, was a decent, solid game, and I really wish I had a sequel. But if there's one thing playing this game again really made me excited for, the upcoming AEW video game. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to everyone who watched this video and everyone who used to be a TNA fan back in the day, and especially shout out to every single person watching this who grew up playing this game. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. I will see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.